Hi everybody, it's Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au bringing you one of my regular features, Hotspot of the Week. And this week I want to focus on another one of the locations that features in our new edition of the National Top 10 Regional Hotspots report. And we've got a bit of a focus on regional Australia in recent times because of the reality that many of the best and strongest markets across the country right now are in regional Australia. Some of our capital city markets are solid to strong, but the ones that are really pumping, the ones that really stand out for us in recent times and right now is regional Australia and regional Victoria. I've said a number of times over the last 6 months, we believe is the strongest market overall in Australia, and we're featured in these broadcasts previously locations such as Ballarat and Bendigo, two very strong regional cities where markets right now are pumping a lot stronger than many other parts of the country. Tonight I want to feature another part of regional Victoria, and one that perhaps for some people would appear to be a little bit out of left field, one they may not have considered as a place that would be worthy of their attention as investors, and that is the Latrobe Valley out on the eastern side of Victoria and out towards the Gippsland region. Now, a number of years ago, the Latrobe Valley, being such a centre for energy generation for the state of Victoria, attracted a whole lot of really big projects, some of them billion-dollar projects, mostly to do with various forms of energy production. It attracted quite a bit of attention from investors for that reason, but the sad reality is that pretty much none of those major projects ever got off the ground, and it all became a bit of a fizzer for the Latrobe Valley. More recently, we've seen some reverses in the economy out there, particularly with the closure of major coal-fired power generation facilities. And that was expected to have a highly detrimental impact on the economy of that region, causing unemployment to rise. So while we'd be featuring it as a national hotspot, well, because those dire expectations that the economy of the Latrobe Valley was going to plummet and unemployment was going to rise actually haven't happened, and it hasn't. Better things have happened because various levels of government and the private sector as well has invested heavily to make sure it doesn't happen. We've seen some very proactive action. In fact, it's in my version of good government, that something that was perhaps undesirable, a coal-fired power station, was closed down, and the environmentalist in me is happy to see that happen. But government has proactively invested in other forms of industries to give those communities detrimentally affected by that closure something to take them forward. And I think that's proven to be successful. We've seen the economy in the Latrobe Valley really starting to pump. Unemployment has come down, and we're starting to see an increase in demand for real estate out in that market, where one of the big attractions is a very high level of affordability. So it offers low prices, very good rental yields, country lifestyle, new jobs being created as the economy of the Latrobe Valley evolves away from the resources sector and starts to build a more diverse economy. We're seeing jobs being generated in projects like hospitals, schools, sporting complexes, a major government hub being established. And as a result of all that, unemployment's come down. There's a lot more to come. So I think it's an area that's actually really worthy of consideration. Now, Latrobe City, the local government area, we're talking about heading out east of Melbourne, perhaps 130 to 160 kilometres away from the capital city on the Princess Highway. And we're talking about four main central towns that make up the nub of this particular local government area: Traralgon, Morwell, Moe and Churchill. We're surprised some people to know that it's regarded as one of the most livable regions in Victoria, known for its high quality health, education and community facilities. There's a big catchment of people in that general area, 260,000 people, although the population of the local government area of Latrobe City is 75,000, projected to keep on growing over the next, say, 10 to 12 years to reach about 85,000. But the catchment of the broader Gippsland region is about 260,000 people. It's known for its energy production, but there's also a lot of other industries going on: agriculture, timber, paper making, manufacturing, engineering, a lot of tourism. It's an area that's serviced by Victoria's regional train network. The V-line train stations are at Trafalgar, Moe, Morwell and Traralgon. Morwell tends to be the administration centre. There's a lot of education facilities there, a major private hospital. There's a regional airport, there's a paper mill, all sorts of things going out in the Morwell region. Churchill has got Federation University Australia, the Gippsland campus there, which is a major employer with around 400 staff. There's also the Gippsland Education Precinct, which includes college, Institute of TAFE, Gippsland Group Training. Traralgon's got a lot going on as well, a lot of government agencies, and it's notable for having ASIC's National Data Processing Centre in Traralgon, employing 300 people. Got a regional hospital, all sorts of other things happening there. So there's a lot happening in these towns that probably a lot of people in other parts of Australia really don't know anything about. But the economy is doing a lot better than many expected when they made the decision to close down the Hazelwood coal-fired power station. And it was expected to have a major detrimental effect on the economy there. But a lot of these other things have kept the economy pumping, and there's new investment coming in there, which I'll talk about in a moment. The property market's really interesting for a number of reasons. Firstly, the affordability. You'd have to say that many of the towns out in this region are considered to be rather down market, and a lot of people would say, "Oh God, why would you want to invest there?" Well, affordability is one of the reasons. The median price for Churchill is 180,000. For Moe, it's 200,000. For Morwell, it's 165,000. So some of the most affordable property buying anywhere in Australia. There's a very high turnover of property. In the last 12 months, almost 380 houses have changed hands in Morwell, 230 in Moe, and in Traralgon, which is the biggest centre and the one with the highest median price, but still only 300,000 in Traralgon. 570 houses sold in the last 12 months. So high turnover of property. The rental yields are particularly strong, which is perhaps not surprising given that the cheapness of the sale prices. But a couple of those towns have median rental yields above 7%. Moe is 6.5%. Newborough is 6.1%. Traralgon's a little bit low at 5.5%, but well above average rental yields. A feature here, some of the highest rental yields you'll find anywhere in Australia outside of a mining town when they're booming, and we hesitate to recommend those sorts of places because they're very high risk, very volatile markets. We're starting to see some pretty good price growth in terms of uplift in the median prices for some of these markets. Newborough's up 7% in the last 12 months. Moe's up 12%. Vacancies also quite low. Most of the postcodes throughout the Latrobe City local government area have vacancy rates around about 1%. So very tight rental markets supporting those high rental yields that I just spoke about. So yeah, in terms of property buying, very affordable, great rental yields, low vacancies. All you really need to give you comfort as an investor is to believe there's going to be some growth. Growth is actually happening, as I mentioned, with some of those figures I gave a moment ago, but is it going to continue? Well, it seems to me that it is, because there's plenty happening. There's a lot of investment being pumped into this region, both by government and private sector. It's one of those cases, and there's been many of them in regional Australia, and sometimes in capital city Australia, where there's been an adverse economic event, like the closure of car manufacturing plants or some other major industry that's been the backbone of a particular community, and media always leaps in and forecasts dire economic consequences, high unemployment, property values plummeting. And so often it just doesn't happen that way, because These sorts of events are often a symptom of an area reinventing itself. It's a change in the economy. We've seen that happen in Geelong and another part of Victoria. Very much Geelong used to be what you might call the old style industry, smokestack industry, blue collar industry, and it's been evolving away from that into a situation where now this very strong economy of Geelong, the biggest employers are the health and education sectors and the IT sector. It's no longer about sort of manufacturing so much. The car manufacturing plant closed down, for example, and again, very negative things were said about the future of Geelong when that happened. We've seen the same thing happen with Newcastle, Wollongong, Northern Adelaide, where the big car manufacturing plant closed down, but those dire consequences just haven't come to pass, as they so often don't, because media usually goes over the top anyway. But what happened is they haven't understood that these events are actually part of an evolution of the economy, new things happening, springing up to take the place of the old industry that's closed down. So we're seeing similar things happening up in the Latrobe Valley in Victoria. Aged care has become more important health services, and we're seeing more call centres established out there. It's the sort of place that you might expect call centres to be set up because the real estate's cheap, and it's well connected to the capital city, so it's got a number of things going for it. Food production has increased, and there's a number of things coming up. Various governments have been directing resources to the region to boost the economy and maintain jobs, and some of the things that are proposed include a plan to build electric cars in the region. There's major upgrades to the Gippsland rail network. They're spending $260 million on the Princes Highway. A little bit further to the east, out at Sale, beyond the local government area of Latrobe City, there's been a major relocation out there of the Defence Force Academy, and so it's not far away. And so there's a lot happening out in that eastern part of Victoria that we don't normally hear a great deal about in our major media. So what we've seen is a very positive impact on the economy and the unemployment rate. In end of 2016, the unemployment rate in Latrobe Valley was 11.5%. 2 years later, at the end of last year, it had come down to about 7.5% and still falling. So it's all trending in the right direction, notwithstanding the closure of the Hazelwood Power Station. Lots of major investment packages have been directed there. A new government hub at Morwell is included in the package and would see 75 government employees relocated to the region. And eventually that hub is expected or projected to house 300 public servants. So there's a whole lot more. We've got a very detailed report on the Hotspotting website on this location, Latrobe Valley, and it details all these events that are turning this into what we expect to be a rather perhaps unexpected, surprising regional hotspot, but one that's worth considering because beyond all of this positive stuff that's happening in the economy out there, creating jobs and economic activity, the real estate is just so cheap and the rental yields are strong and the vacancies are low, and why wouldn't you consider a place like that as a good place to put your money, particularly if you're an investor on a budget? Things coming up, under construction, $530 million being spent on the Gippsland rail line upgrade, $60 million being spent on the Gippsland Regional Aquatic Centre. It's proposed the Maryvale paper mill, $600 million being spent there. Upgrade of the Latrobe Regional Hospital, $220 million for stage 3. There's some other really big things that are perhaps a little bit more into the future, like the undersea power cable from northern Tasmania to the Latrobe Valley. That's a $3 billion project that's in the works, that's been approved. Will it happen? Who knows? But if it does, it's going to be a big economic boost to the region. Fingerboard's Mineral Sands Project, $100 million. A wind farm, the Delburn wind farm, a $500 million project. The Longford Long Island Pipeline Replacement Project, 400 million. Pilot Hydrogen Project at Golden Beach, 500 million. God, there's just so much that's proposed. A lot of it's already happening, and then there's a whole lot more that's been talked about, proposed, planned, approved. I think the future for this region economically and in terms of a place to consider for property investment is very strong. So worth considering. It's one of the locations in our recently published new edition of National Top 10 Regional Hotspots report. As I said earlier, we believe that some of the strongest markets in the country right now are in regional Australia, being completely overlooked by mainstream media, not hearing about them or reading about them, but they nevertheless exist, and there's some really strong price growth happening, and regional Victoria is one of the places that's performing most strongly, and Latrobe Valley is one of those places we think is sort of answers the question, where next? So give it some consideration, and if you'd like to find out more, go to the Hotspotting website, go to the location reports page and get yourself a copy of that report. Okay, before I go, don't forget that we, because it's June, we have a couple of special end of financial year special offers on some of our key products. One of them is the strategy sessions that I offer, the one-on-one 1 hour discussions between myself and yourself. If you want to take advantage of that offer, the end of financial year special offer, a substantial reduction in the normal fee for that service. Also for our premium membership. Premium membership means that you get all of our top 5, top 10 hotspots reports, all of the editions of the Price Predictor Index and the Ryder report. You're getting a report from us approximately once a week throughout the year of your membership. If you sign up and take advantage of the special offer, you'll be paying $660 less than you normally would for the annual subscription to premium membership. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that is it's an end of financial year offer for the month of June, and June finishes this coming weekend. So there's only a few days to go to take advantage of those special offers. So don't delay. If you're interested in either a strategy session one-on-one with myself, or to get a great flow of great information about the best places to consider buying as property investors for the next year, that's our premium membership with a heavily reduced price, but that's only for the next couple of days till the end of June. Okay, that's it for now. Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au signing off. Let's do it again soon.